watching the Paying Attention television program. My name is Tom Duggan. I'm your host. If you don't know that by now, you're not paying attention. In the studio today, we have a special guest. His name is Attorney David Hoey. He is a nursing home. He's an attorney who sues nursing homes and is an advocate for senior citizens. And one of the reasons why I brought Attorney David Hoey in today, he's somebody that's going to be a regular on the radio program, and he's certainly somebody who knows an awful lot about elder care, elder abuse, neglect, and the laws that are or are not being followed by our local nursing homes here in the Merrimack Valley. And so I want to welcome you to the show, David. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
David, your business is in, oh, and by the way, thank you. I don't know if one can get a shot of this. Maybe you can't. But David donated this nice Hoey Law Office clock to the Paying Attention television program. So during the debates, when we have political candidates coming in, we have an official timekeep. So I want to thank you for that, and we'll get as much use out of it as we can.
You're welcome.
David, why don't you tell people a little bit about what you do? You're an attorney. You didn't start out doing this, but over the years, through some personal experiences, you ended up being an advocate for senior citizens in nursing homes. And why don't you talk a little bit about what you do and how you got there?
Well, I got there, I went to law school locally, and after law school, my first exposure to the legal field was in a medical malpractice law firm in Boston. As a young graduate from law school, the first thing you want to do is get that big firm job in Boston. Went to Boston and got a job with a medical malpractice law firm, and right away got exposure on high-end litigation, medical malpractice cases. But my time there was limited as a senior partner that I worked for. Decided to leave the firm. And the firm did not have a partnership track, and they had salary caps for associates, so that left me in a position to look around for what should I do next. And I met with the remaining senior partner there, and I had asked him, what do you think about going off on your own and practice a law in Massachusetts? And he gave me a great piece of advice. He said, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, there's 40,000 lawyers. Fenway Park seats 34,000. You fit more lawyers, there's more lawyers that can fit in Fenway Park. He said, look around for an area of law that nobody else is doing. Do it, get good at it, and then tell everybody you're good at it. So in October of 1998, I looked around and nobody was doing nursing home litigation. There was two other lawyers in the Commonwealth who niche practice or specialized in nursing home abuse and neglect cases.
Just two in the whole state?
At the time. And that was in October of 98, about October of 98. There was other attorneys that would do a selective one or two cases, but not a niche practice in this area.
Right.
So I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do nursing home neglect and abuse. And as of October of 1998, I made a commitment to that, and that's what I do, pretty much representing elderly and families of elderly and victims of abuse and neglect in nursing homes, senior day centers, assisted living facilities, visiting nurse associations, some medical malpractice that runs off of that. But that's the core of my practice. And it's grown to a point now where I've done well over 400 intakes or inquiries into abuse and neglect, and I have approximately 30 or so cases in litigation. But there's another part of why I chose this area, and that is my mother is a nationally known expert in the field, nursing home litigation.
It always helps to have help from mom.
It always helps to have help from mom. As a kid, she was, but not as a kid, but for me as a kid, I spent a lot of time in a nursing home, not as a resident patient, but as a helper. My mother was a director of nursing of a nursing home for 25 years. And I watched her as a director of nursing, and before that she was an assistant director of nursing of this nursing home in a small town in Connecticut. And I watched her work her tail off, helping these elderly people, and she really enjoyed it. She would go in on snowstorms. I can remember the blizzard of '78. She was there for 2 or 3 nights because she couldn't get back home. Always going in on Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, and she did a really good job at it. But she saw healthcare, specifically in the nursing home industry, go from quality of care to the number one priority, to profits as the number one priority by the late 80s.
Now, is that because of the privatization of nursing homes? Is it different between private nursing homes and more publicly run facilities, or is there another reason for that, do you think?
It's a combination of a bunch of different factors, but the main factor is that corporate buyouts. Many corporations decided to get into the nursing home business or healthcare industry, and their number one goal, as most corporations, is profits. So how can we take this nursing home that generates X amount of dollars and have it generate X more dollars?
Right.
And what was happening was they were taking away from the quality of care issues and staffing issues and nursing issues. And my mother saw that go from quality of care as the number one priority to profits as the number one priority. And she too wanted to make a difference, and she got out and is now a nationally known expert in the nursing home field. Does case evaluations for nursing homes and for plaintiffs' attorneys that pursue these type of claims. So that and the combination of 40,000 lawyers in Massachusetts, and I had to look for a niche that nobody else was doing.
That's great. If you are watching at home and you are in a nursing home, or you're thinking about going into a nursing home, if your family member is in a position where you may want to put them into a nursing home, I'm going to give you some time to go get a pen and a piece of paper to take down some very valuable information. Attorney David Hoey is not only an attorney who represents nursing home residents, but also goes into nursing homes with family members to make sure that the nursing home that they're seeking out, the nursing homes that they're looking at, are nursing homes that are truly going to meet the needs of their loved one or their family members. Talk a little bit about what kind of services you do provide in that area.
Sure. This year, at the beginning of 2001, over the last 2 years, I got a lot of inquiries about the reluctancy by family members, reluctancy of placing a loved one in a nursing home, but they just didn't have the means or the capabilities or the medical professionalism behind them to take care of an individual at home. And the only alternative was some type of nursing home or assisted living facility. So I got many phone calls as to how do I put my mom or my dad or my grandma, grandpa into a nursing home? What do I look for? What do I ask? What's the submissions agreement? They want me to be the responsible party. What's that mean?
Right.
So I thought, another way that I can be an advocate in this, other than pursuing, the injury claims, and the abuse and neglect claims, is be a small advocate for the family members. So I implemented a new service in my office, and we call it the Quality of Life service, where a family can call my office, and I will present them a package. Basically, I'll do the background research on a particular facility that they might be interested in. I'll find out if the facility's been sued, how many times, what was the outcome of the lawsuits. I'll run the nursing home report card, which is you can get free off the internet on the Commonwealth of Massachusetts website. You can punch in the name of the nursing home, and it'll give you a report card. It's a score, and it'll compare it to other nursing homes within your community.
Right.
I'll also do a run on the Medicare. It has a search engine where you can download graphs, same type of comparison that you can run and see how many residents in a particular nursing home have, say, pressure sores, or are being treated for dehydration, or are incontinent, or are bedridden. And Medicare provides that information as well. And I would, if the family wishes, I could accompany them to the interview at the nursing home. On one occasion, we had hired a private investigator to go to the nursing home and present himself as if he was a family member interested in placing a loved one in his home. And he did the tour, and he walked around, he looked around, he came back and gave us a report and said, you don't want to place your loved one in that nursing home. But me accompanying a family member to the interview
must be extremely helpful to the families, because you're presenting an image to the nursing home people, that the administrators, that this resident that's coming in has representation, so don't fool around.
Not just that, it's that this family is taking their placement of their loved one in a nursing home very, very seriously. And therefore, they want the best care possible for their loved one. And they want to stay active and involved in the care for their loved one, which all family members should. The more involved the family member is into the care and the treatment of their loved one in the nursing facility, the better care that individual is going to get. But also, by me going to the interview, the nursing home puts their best foot forward. You know, they want to shine. Sometimes they don't know I'm coming.
That's even better.
That's the best. But then they feel like they need to get their counsel there. Right. And then they're a little reluctant about admitting the resident, because they sense that maybe the family's sue happy or something, which really isn't the case. The family just wants to do the right thing. Right. With the publicity about bad care in nursing homes right now, families are very, very reluctant about going there. So, you know, some of the services that I provide help the family make a better decision as to where to go. A lot of these facilities, you walk in the front door, and it looks like the Ritz-Carlton, right, the Royal Sonesta Hotel. But if you dig deep enough beyond the lobby, you'll see that it's not.
Most people know that, you know, my personal background with nursing homes, my adversarial relationship with nursing homes in the community, mainly because of my grandparents. And also, you know, as a youngster, similar to, you know, what you went through, you know, with your mother, kind of similar, I guess. As a student of St. Patrick's School, we would go to the nursing homes and do Christmas caroling. Sometimes we would volunteer to get my confirmation. I think we volunteered at nursing homes, and I've had several other relatives in nursing homes. So my relationship locally is very adversarial with nursing homes, mainly, I think, because I've seen from the inside the care or lack thereof that some of these poor residents, especially those who have no one to speak for them. And I want to applaud you for being someone who's willing to come forward and speak for them. Can you talk about some of the cases maybe locally, without giving names? I know there's confidentiality, but you know, my biggest beef, I guess, in the last so many years has been with Mary Immaculate, which, stunningly enough, they have an adult daycare center, which is phenomenal. And they have a residential living facility, which is phenomenal. And then you walk over half a block away to their nursing home, and it's hell. It's absolutely abysmal, the level of care, the administrative concerns. And there's a lot of good people that work there. But from the top down, there seems to be something really, really seriously broken there. You talk a little bit about, you know, some of your experiences with some of the local nursing homes. If you want to mention the names, you can. You don't have to if you want. Obviously, I'm a little more candid than most people, but feel free.
Well, let me start by saying that you have a personal connection with MI, Mary Immaculate, MI for short, nursing facility. I, too, have investigated claims concerning MI. I can't really comment on those at this time, but I can tell you that I have investigated inquiries and claims regarding care at MI. I also know of other law firms who have filed lawsuits against MI. I don't know the specific facts behind those.
What were the resolutions to some of those? Were they found to have been abusive or neglective, or was it settled, or was there some other resolution where people came together?
They're still pending.
They are all still pending.
They're still pending. There's approximately 540 nursing homes in Massachusetts, 50 of which are going to be closing over the next 2 years. And those 50, or the majority of those 50, are in the western part of Massachusetts. Currently under construction, there's probably about another 10 or 15 nursing homes. So over the next 2 years, that 540 nursing homes will be down to, probably 35. Out of those 540 nursing homes, I have approximately 30 lawsuits pending, and that would encumbrance about 25 nursing homes. There's a few nursing homes I have sued more than once. In fact, my newest case is a 105-year-old woman.
Wow.
Now, that's good living. I looked at the intake sheet, and she was born April of 1896.
Wow.
She still gets up and walks. She still puts herself to bed every day. She's taken care of by her nephew and her nephew's wife. And the nephew and the nephew's wife were going to go away for vacation for 10 days. So they were going to put her in a nursing home for those 10 days. They come back home from vacation.
I didn't know you could do that. You could put someone in just temporarily for 10 days for whatever reason like that?
Short-term stay.
How about that?
And they placed her in this particular nursing home. They did not do a background check prior thereto. They placed her in a local, which was local to them, nursing home, convenience. And she had 3 falls within those 10 days. In the hospital, 14 stitches in the head, lost her teeth, which, by the way, for 105 years old, were her original teeth.
Wow.
Now, to live 105 is fantastic. It's beyond any of our, expectations.
Sure.
But to live 105 good years, to spend your
10 days in a nursing home.
Yeah, the pain, agony, stitches, head trauma, it's recorded. She fell out of her wheelchair the first time. She fell out of the bed the second time. She fell in the hallway the third time. It might have been a 4th fall. I can't remember, but I know 3 for sure in the 10 days time span. Now, these nursing homes are to ensure safety. They do an assessment when the resident comes to the home. It's called a fall risk assessment. They do many assessments, but one of the assessments they do is a fall risk assessment. And she scored high, probably because of her age, for a high risk for falls. But the nursing home didn't implement
They didn't do anything about it.
any plan. They identified her as a high risk for falls,
Sure.
but they didn't do anything to prevent it or to ensure the safety. So I find, I'm excited about representing a 105-year-old woman.
I would be too.
I would be too. That's great. Most of my cases, what I do is I look at the behavior of the nursing home and I categorize it. Is what the nursing home did stupid, or is what the nursing home did mean? And on those stupid cases, there's a few of those, but I'm finding that more and more of my cases are becoming mean. And what I mean by mean is when they profit over care.
Yeah, to hell with the residents, to hell with how much food they want to eat, to hell with what time in the morning they want to get up, what time of night they want to go to bed. This is convenient for our nurses' staff, so they're going to get up when we tell them, go to bed when we tell them, and eat what we tell them. And, nursing homes are, and I have found through, again, personal experience, in general, there are a few, Sutton Hill, by the way, one of the best, I think, in the area. But nursing homes in general are just really horrifying, nightmarish places to visit, even worse, to live in. What are some of the things that a family member can look for if they're going to try to put a family member in, or they're investigating putting a family member into a nursing home? What are some of the telltale signs they're on the right track or the wrong track?
One of the things that the family should look for is you need to visit the home more than once. You need to visit it on your scheduled visit. When you call and you want to place one, they say, why don't you come at 10 o'clock on such and such a day? Well, yeah, that day they're probably going to roll out the red carpet for you. But then you need to go and make a spontaneous stop.
Surprise visit.
Surprise visit. And maybe just walk into the lobby and see what's going on. You can get a sense by who approaches you and say, may I help you, where are you going? I've walked into many nursing homes, just walked in, got on the elevator, went up the stairs, walked over to my resident's room, or my client's room, found that she's not there, she's been moved. And then I just walked the halls until I found her. No one ever approached me. And I've gone to other nursing homes where the minute that I walk in the door, hi, can I help you? Or we have a sign-in log, would you please sign your name? You can tell right there that there may be a security problem there.
Right.
And if you have a loved one who may be a known wanderer, well, you're not going to want your loved one in that type of home. So one of the things is make a second visit. Another thing is you have to ask the right questions when you go to the interview of this nursing home. And you need to do the background check, either through an advocate group or through a counsel like myself, or on your own. You got to do some homework. You got to know what question to ask. Most of the family members don't know what question to ask. Number one question you have to ask and research is the nurse to resident ratio. Now, they're probably going to represent to you that they have the appropriate ratio, et cetera, et cetera. But get specific. How many nurses do you have per resident, per shift? Because remember, there's
Per shift.
3 shifts.
Right.
So during the day shift, oh, they probably have perfect.
Right.
But then as the second and the third shift, you might have 1 nurse for 75 residents. Granted, most residents are sleeping through that time, but not all. And a lot of them need more care at night than they do during the day. There's still medications that need to be given out. There's still bathroom assistances that need to be done. There's all sorts of issues. There's some spiked fevers in the middle of the night. You got 3 residents spiking fevers, and you only got 1 nurse attending to each one. One of them's not going to get attended to.
Right.
Besides the nursing, nurse to resident ratio, you should investigate into the CNA, which is a certified nurse's aide to resident ratio. And certified nurses' aides are exactly that. They're supposed to be aides to the nurses.
Not nurses, and they're not supposed to be performing nursing functions either.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times we see these nurses' aides, and they're performing nursing functions for whatever reason these nursing homes are allowing them to do it to take off some of the burden. And we understand the nurses are overworked, underpaid. The nurses' aides are overworked and underpaid. But that's something the administration should be taking care of from the top level. And the nurses' aides really have a specific function that they're supposed to provide, and not more, because they're certified only for certain things. What are some of those things?
The certified nurse's aide actually does the most work in the nursing home. They are supposed to assist the residents with their ADLs. ADLs are activities of daily living. Your grooming, your bathing, your eating, simple things like cleaning the nails, combing your hair, getting dressed in the morning, getting up in the morning, going to bed at night, assisting them to the restroom, assisting them to the dining hall. And they need to go on a little bit further, maybe reading an article in the newspaper to them.
Oh, good luck.
I understand.
Please.
But these...
they're in the room, they wash them, they're on to the next patient. There's no checkers being played, and there's no books being read.
You're right. If you break down the tasks of the CNA per the number of residents the CNA is supposed to do these tasks, there is not enough minutes in the CNA shift to get it all done. There just isn't. So a resident who needs assistance with eating their meal, where you're going to have to sit down and take a good half an hour or more and assist this resident because they're chewing slower, they're swallowing slower, they need to have smaller parcels of food, the food needs to be cut up or chopped, and they need to be maybe spoon-fed. What's happening is the food gets dropped off, the cover might get taken off, maybe not.
Yeah.
And it's just not getting done. I've seen one incident where the CNA was sitting in the middle, and she had 3 or 4 residents around her, and she would 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's outrageous.
And there was
But it's not their fault either, as we said, because...
you can't blame... I don't blame the CNAs.
So what's the solution? Do we hold nursing home administrative staff or the owners of these nursing homes accountable by virtue of the fact that they're not paying people enough or hiring enough people to perform these services? I mean, is that the direction that you go in as a lawyer?
The number one problem with nursing homes is staffing. If it's not adequate staffing, it's inadequate training of the staff. So it's going to be one of those two or both.
And in and of itself, that's really neglect, isn't it? I mean, if my grandfather goes into a nursing home and they don't have the adequate staff to meet all of his living needs, and my grandfather, right before he passed away, had a lot of living needs. He'd had 3 strokes and had to be fed and couldn't chew his food, so he had to have ground-up food given to him. Some of the nursing homes, he was in 3, 4 different nursing homes before he passed away. Some of them, Sutton Hill, fantastic. Some of the others, Mary Immaculate, not so fantastic. Do you hold those nursing home owners, those the administrative staff, legally accountable? How does somebody go about doing that? I mean, if you're a grandson and you're home watching this on TV, and hopefully anybody who's got a senior parent or a senior grandparent is going to be watching this and paying very close attention. What is it that they can do? What are they looking for? What kind of remedy can they find?
Well, it's hard because a lot of the nursing homes now are corporately owned. There's Beverly Enterprises, which is the largest in the country, a billion-dollar industry. What has to be done is you need mandatory staffing requirements. And the only way that's going to happen is through legislation. But what's happening is the nursing homes are coming in saying, whoa, this mandatory staffing will be sunk. We won't be able to survive. Medicare and Medicaid have been cutting our rates for years. You know, so how are we supposed to add staff and bill for all these services when Medicare and Medicaid are cutting our rates and reimbursement procedures? Mm-hmm. And so what's happening is a lot of nursing homes are filing bankruptcy. The Sun has filed bankruptcy.
Is that Sunrise Nursing Home?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were Sunbridge,
Sunrise, no Sun.
Yeah, depending on pre or post bankruptcy.
We've got one here in Lawrence. It is on South Union Street.
That's right.
So just to give people who are watching an idea.
And they're notorious for their signs. Purple with the
sign.
yellow stripe and
Yeah.
yellow sun in
Right.
the middle. Yeah, that's when you know it's a Sun home. The Sun industry is Arizona-based. They were the second or third largest corporate owners of nursing homes in the country. No, I'm sorry, not Arizona, New Mexico-based, and they had filed bankruptcy last year. I'm sorry, I'll tell you the exact date. October 14th of 1999, they filed bankruptcy. They have a case against a Sun home, a 33-year-old retarded woman who needed 24-hour-a-day supervision. Physician ordered 24-hour-a-day supervision, and they left her alone. Oh, and assistance with all her ADLs, that's the activities of daily living. One of those would have been grooming and washing. And she was left alone for a period of time, so she tried to wash herself, and she tried to put body lotion on herself. And she got it all over the place. And she slipped on it and fell and broke her hip. And she died a couple months thereafter of right infected hip and sepsis of the hip. 33 years old, family was devastated.
I can imagine.
And that was a Sun home, and we had to fight through the bankruptcy procedures and bankruptcy proceedings to try to get it to a conclusion, and the case should be resolved by the end of December, we hope.
If, by the way, you're watching the Paying Attention television program, my guest is attorney David Hoey. He is an attorney from North Reading, and he makes it his business to be a senior advocate for senior citizens. He sues nursing homes, which makes him tops in my book, and certainly a friend of this program and the radio show. And what we're discussing today is if you have a parent, a grandparent, if you have a loved one, if you have somebody that you care about who is approaching the age or approaching a position health-wise where they're going to need to be in a nursing home, what David Hoey does is he will go with you. He will interview the people at the nursing home. He'll conduct investigations of the nursing homes to make sure that the nursing home that you're seeking, that you're looking for, is going to be one that is going to meet the needs of the person that you care about. Also, what he does is if there's a neglect or an abuse case that's going on in a specific nursing home where you have a loved one, you can call Attorney Hoey. And I told you to get a pen and a paper earlier so that you could write down some information. I'm going to give you the phone number. And what he does, I think he's a godsend. When he started doing this, there were two lawyers in the state of Massachusetts who were advocates for senior citizens. And you know how much I care about the seniors. We're going to make him a regular on the radio program, so be paying attention to that. If you've got your pen and your paper, why don't you give the phone number at your law office if anybody has any, and you'll take free questions, you'll do intakes, free consultations if people have just any questions about placing someone, what is abuse or neglect, what's covered under that, what somebody should be looking for.
There isn't a day that goes by that I don't get a phone call about one of those questions every day. So I try to spend as much time as I can answering those questions, and I try to return every phone call that I can, unless I'm in court all day or at a facility, nursing facility. I'll make phone calls at night, and I'll do it on the weekend if I have to. The phone number locally is 978 area code 664-3633, There's also a toll-free number, the 877. It's 1-877-LAWHOEY.
Now, why don't you give that out again, and maybe one can stick that up on the screen at some point. Oh, there it is. It's up there. So it's 978-664-36, is that 33?
That's correct.
And that's your law office. Now, we run in the morning. We run, I think, at 10 o'clock in the morning. But we also, most of the shows run at 7 and then at 10 o'clock at night. So if you're watching this at night, write it down. Call Attorney Hoey, during business hours, obviously. And he'll do what he can to answer your question. He'll do an intake, and he'll look into whatever nursing home it is that you're looking at. And you can also do some free homework on these nursing homes yourselves. You can go to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts website, and under the the Elder Affairs?
Elder Affairs.
Under the Elder Affairs section, you can type in the name of the nursing home you want to know about. And they'll give you a little report card, as he mentioned earlier, about what type of nursing home that you're looking at, and what kind of complaints, or how many complaints have been filed against them. What do you see as the biggest problem for senior citizens who are in a nursing home as far as neglect or abuse? What are the bulk of the inquiries that you get, and how do they usually get resolved? Is it mainly bed sores, people wandering off, people slips and falls, or is it real abuse? We had one case here in Lawrence last year of someone getting raped in a nursing home.
It was actually a series of rapes. There was a number of residents in the home that was raped by a worker.
Right, and he was convicted too.
He was convicted, right. There's a couple of things. One of and I think it's neglect, and that is the lack of personal attention. The nursing homes this is where these people live. This is now their home. And they're left in their rooms by themselves. They're left in the dining room by themselves. I can't tell you the number of times I've seen a resident who's fallen asleep in a wheelchair, head down, crunched, just lying there. Mm-hmm. The person needs to be in her bed. They need personal attention. They need to be read to. They need company. They need visitors.
Isn't that to me, isn't that really the most important? I mean, physical care is obviously important, but not having the intellectual interaction with people. You could tell, I mean, when I went to Sutton Hill, when I went to Mary Immaculate, Nevins, Mariner, you could tell walking the corridors, just looking in the room, who gets visited and who doesn't by, I don't even know how to explain it, but you can tell because when they don't get that personal attention, whether it's somebody to play checkers with or just to watch television with or to read to them, they start to deteriorate internally. They physically start to deteriorate and mentally start to deteriorate. Isn't that really one of the biggest problems that these nursing homes, they treat people like cargo. They treat them like they're, what was the word you used earlier?
Products.
Products. They treat people like products, and they attend to the physical needs because there's a law that mandates that they have to do that. But there really isn't a lot of personal attention given to them as human beings.
They don't have time, but they need personal attention. Remember, a lot of these elders have had a loved one for 50, 60 years, 40 years, and had children. They always had a house full of people. Now you take them out of that environment and you place them in a nursing home in this one little room where they sit or lie all day long.
Right.
They need some personal attention. I've had one family hire what they call a sitter. It's someone who comes every day, and their mother had severe Alzheimer's disease. But they still wanted just another presence in the room. And that woman, that sitter, would come and just knit all day and maybe talk a little bit. They'd watch TV, even though the loved one who had the Alzheimer's didn't understand what she was watching and didn't really understand why this woman was in her room, but the family felt more comfortable having a sitter with her because they knew the nursing home couldn't provide it.
Is there a service out there where people can, is there an established that you know of, someplace where people could hire? Because that'd be a great service. I mean, a great thing to start up if nobody else is doing it. But is there a place out there, or is this person you're talking about just hired someone that they kind of knew? Or
they hired someone they knew, like it was an old neighbor. I don't know if there's any services. My guess is there probably is. I could always look into that. But most of the nursing homes are going to object to a sitter. They're not going to want...
Of course not. They don't want anybody watching what they're doing. They don't want people watching what they're not doing.
They're going to say it's a health issue. You know, this person's not trained. This person cannot, and by the way, if there ever is a sitter cannot assist the resident in any way. Can't assist the resident going to the restroom, cannot assist the resident getting dressed, can just be plainly that, a sitter. For communication purposes.
But God forbid that the nurses would actually want a little help with all the overstaffing that they have, you know.
But it does become a quality control issue and health risk issues and improper training type issues and stuff. So the sitters, which there are not very many of them, I only know of a couple, they're not to engage in any of the assistance with the medical or the ADL side of things. They're just to be a sitter and a companion, basically. I don't know of any services that do that. It would be a great service to have. But in terms of other types of neglect, obviously there's the abuse. There's verbal abuse. There was a resident of a nursing home in the North Shore who, she was cranky, okay?
You can mention, by the way, names of nursing homes on this show. I'm a lot more candid than most people.
You know, it's hard for me to keep track of all 540 of them.
Right.
But if I remember a name of one or two of them, I'll let you know.
Because we want to let people know what the good ones are and what the good ones aren't, because I guarantee, I mean, I used to go to my grandfather at Sutton Hill and watch copies of this show, you know, when it aired, and there were other people who were watching it too. So I'm sure that somewhere watching this program right now is a nursing home resident or a nurse in a nursing home who's feeding somebody, and this information is important to them as well.
Oh, I agree. It's funny you mentioned that. Yesterday, I got a phone call from a CNA, Certified Nurse's Aide, of a nursing home, telling me about a resident in that nursing home that they were neglecting. And she said, I can't take it anymore. I can't see it anymore. I have to tell somebody.
That's great.
Now, she works there. Right? She works there, and she saw this herself, and she had to reach out to someone because her supervisors, supervising nurse, director of nursing, assistant director of nursing, or the administrator wouldn't listen to her. By law, I am not supposed to be talking to ex-employees or employees of a nursing home. So I have a little bit of an issue that I need to get around to try to get some assistance to this individual in a nursing home.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Okay, here's my suggestion. Anytime somebody calls you who is a ex-employee or an employee and you're not supposed to talk to them, you give them my phone number. You have them call me as a reporter, and they can keep their name to themselves off the record. Just give me the information that needs to get to you. I'll get it to you, and you can get the ball rolling.
That's what we'll do.
I mean, we'll be a conduit while here on this program, and if there's an abuse situation or there's something that needs to come to light to the public, we'll use the vehicle of this program, the radio program in Rumbo, and the North End of a Citizen, and anything else that we can use. If there's a senior citizen out there who's being neglected or they're being abused, and you're watching this, or if you're a nursing home employee, you work in the cafeteria, you're a janitor, you're, as the grandson of a nursing home resident, I used to see things happening to other patients, I'm sorry, not patients, residents. Call Attorney Hoey, call me at home, go to www.tommyduggan.com and send me an email. I promise you, if there's any merit to anything that you see going on, I will get the information to Attorney Hoey, and we will have the law looked into, and we'll have it taken care of. I know I interrupted you. You were talking about a verbal abuse case.
Yes,
and I interrupted you, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to finish that up.
When most people think of abuse on the elderly, they're thinking of physical abuse of some sort, hitting or stealing of their funds or belongings. But a lot of the cases are verbal abuse. The yelling, the screaming at the resident, shut up. There's this one particular case on the North Shore that she was a cranky resident, you know, didn't want any care, you know, leave me alone, I don't want any care, and sort of this stuff. But with this one particular nurse and her did not get along well. And the nurse came up with a nickname for this woman, and the nickname was the Jew bitch.
Nice.
Right? So all of a sudden, she's referring to her, instead of Mrs. So-and-so, she's referring to her as the Jew bitch to the rest of the staff. Now it catches on. Like a nickname in high school?
Right.
So everybody in the staff, other residents,
That's
knew her as
unacceptable.
totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. The family didn't know this. The family comes in one day, and somebody said it by accident. Well, they didn't want the family to hear it, but the family heard it. And that's when they contacted me, and what we did was that we reported it to the Department of Public Health, Division of Healthcare Quality, and they had went in and issued a deficiency against that nursing home.
And I'm sure that solved the problem, right?
Well, I believe that nurse resigned. She's probably working in another nursing home.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, you've got these people who, you catch them doing something, nursing home X gets rid of them, they go and they work for nursing home Y. I mean, we actually had some attending residents, and I apologize, I can't remember the details on it, but I remember a couple of years ago there was I think it was a nurse's aide, a male nurse's aide, who had been fired from 3 other nursing homes for abuse and neglect, but wasn't serious enough to bring them to court, but they knew what was going on, they got rid of him, and he just went to another nursing home and didn't list the prior place that he worked at on his application. There was no way of checking up on these people. Is there a way, is there some kind of a reporting system through the state where you can keep track of people that nursing homes are getting rid of because of the lack of quality care they're providing?
They're supposed to be, but like most state agencies, their paperwork is way behind.
What's the state agency in charge of nursing homes?
Department of Public Health, Division of Healthcare Quality.
Okay. So how do we put a flame under their ass? Do we sit down with Sue Tucker? I'm going to have her in on my radio show in the next couple of weeks. She's the chairman of the Elder Services Committee. Or do we do it in another way? Do we go through the governor's office? What's the best way? Because I'm a results-oriented kind of guy, and I know when I ask questions and I hear, well, it's a state agency, DSS, they're not supposed to be doing this, but they're so overworked. Somebody's got to be in charge of that to fix that process, to fix that system. Who is it that my listeners, my viewers, can call and put a flame under to change this, to start the ball rolling?
Well, actually, out of all the state agencies in Massachusetts, the Department of Public Health, Division of Healthcare Quality, first of all, has their hands full. Because not only do they have the 540 nursing homes that they need to regulate, they have all the hospitals, and then they have all these other type of issues, like there was the disease control issues, that contaminated water issues. So the Department of Public Health, Division of Healthcare Quality, many, many issues. They have their hands full. But they do a pretty good job with these nursing homes. You have to get Department of Public Health, Division of Healthcare Quality involved more. The problem is that they're not involved enough. We know that they don't have enough help with the number of complaints that come in. But most of the families don't even know that there's this governing body out there, Department of Health, Division of Healthcare Quality, that if you call and file a complaint with them, that they will investigate that complaint. If they deem that it needs to be investigated, they'll investigate it. I've had a series of burn cases, individuals who were scalded or burned in a nursing home, and those families knew enough to contact the Department of Public Health. The Department of Public Health came out to that nursing home the next day, did an investigation, and told the nursing home what to do so it won't happen again.
Right.
One resident who was burned on the baseboard heating in the room. The baseboard heating was cranked up to over 90 degrees. And her bed, the regulations, nursing homes are governed by 2 sets of regulations. HCFA regs, which are the Healthcare Financing Administration regulations, that's federal law. And there's the CMRs, which are the Code of Massachusetts regulations, that's our Massachusetts law. And they regulate long-term care facilities, nursing homes. And one of the regulations in there was that all beds need to be 3 or more feet away from baseboard heating. This particular resident's bed was 2 feet away. So if she slipped out of bed or got out of bed on the baseboard heating side, her legs were resting up against the heater. She got stuck there, and the baseboard heating burnt her feet and her calves. as a result, she had an amputation of one leg. Department of Public Health was out there right away. They made sure all the beds were more than 3 feet away. They made sure there was a protective shield on all the baseboard heating, so that if it did get hot, or it should have never been 90 degrees to begin with, something wrong with the heating system. They made sure that the nursing home fixed that problem so it would never happen again. You got to get them involved.
You must see some real horror stories. You must hear some real horror stories. And I want to encourage anybody who's watching who has a loved one in a nursing home, or especially if you're considering putting someone in a nursing home, please, my first piece of advice is please don't do it. There are plenty of other agencies out there that will give you home health care, home health VNA. They'll give you visiting nurses, speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. There are just hundreds and hundreds of programs where you can keep your loved one at home and get nursing home care type service at home. But if you can't handle that and you have to put someone into a nursing home, my next piece of advice would be to contact Attorney David Hoey at 877 Law Hoey. Is that it?
That's correct.
And maybe one can put that phone number back up again. One of the misconceptions about nursing homes and this type of liability work that you do is that there's no money in it. That if they sue a nursing home, the nursing homes are so poor that you know, they're going to fight for 15 years and it's not going to get them anywhere, and there's not going to be any money at the end of the you know, the road. And not that people would be doing it for money anyway, but it's more about holding the nursing homes accountable. That's not exactly true, is it? They're actually you've actually been pretty successful, haven't you, about going after some of these neglectful and abusive nursing homes?
Well, let's put it this way. Yes, there's money. No, there isn't money. When I say yes, there's money, these nursing homes are insured. And they usually have policy limits somewhere around the $1 million or $2 million mark. Yes, they have deductibles or retentions, you know, just like you would with your automobile insurance, a $500 deductible. Nursing homes have a little bit higher of a deductible, maybe $2,000 to $50,000 deductible. Yes, if you pursued a legal action for a neglect or abuse case and you were successful on the legal action, there's usually money there, because they have insurance. I can explain a little bit more about that in a minute. When I say no, there isn't money, I say that for two reasons. A lot of these nursing homes are filing bankruptcy. You can still pursue a legal action against the nursing home that has filed bankruptcy, but you have to go through certain bankruptcy procedures, which takes more time. And you're only entitled to collect the insurance proceeds. You can't collect...
Not the deductible.
The deductible will be subject to the bankruptcy laws, so you're right. You might get 10 cents on the dollar on the deductible amounts. So if you sued a nursing home that had a $50,000 deductible, or even in some cases a $100,000 deductible or retention, and you were successful and got $300,000 on a lawsuit, well, that first $100,000 is going to be subject to the bankruptcy laws. So you're really only going to collect $200,000,
right,
instead of the $300,000. And another issue, which is often forgotten by many attorneys, and other attorneys who have pursued these type of claims have failed many times to inform the families that the Medicare and Medicaid will be looking for reimbursements. And that needs to be straightened out.
Reimbursements for what? For the money they're paying for the care?
Yes and no. It works like this.
You can tell I'm talking to a lawyer. I can yes and no.
Never get a yes.
But I like it, though. I like it because it's very informative. People need to know this stuff.
As you know, when you hit age 65, you're going to qualify for Medicare. Medicare is federal, the federal funding, your Social Security benefits, basically. And they, if a loved one was injured or abused in a nursing home, and they sought legal action, and they were successful on the legal action, Medicare has an automatic right of lien onto that legal action. The proceeds from the legal action become an asset to the estate of the loved one.
I see.
So Medicare is going to want to attach any assets for reimbursement. But Medicare is only looking for that amount of money that they paid out as a result of the injury.
I see.
So most likely it's going to be the hospital stay, if a hospital is involved. Now, There's Medicare. That's Medicare. There's Medicaid. Medicaid is your state, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Division of Health Welfare.
Right.
Mass Health, as most people know it as. There's two divisions. There's the third-party liability division, and there's the estate recovery division. Now, the third-party liability division will be looking to attach any of those settlement proceeds. Same thing as Medicare, any money that they paid out as a result of the injury. But the estate recovery division is looking for reimbursement for any and all money they've ever paid out on behalf of this individual. So to give you an example, our office just settled a lawsuit with a nursing home that is no longer in business. It's a heritage house in Danvers.
Mm-hmm.
It's been out of business since 1996. It was a small 40-resident nursing home. And we settled the lawsuit for $240,000. It was a head trauma case. She wandered off the premises. But the estate recovery lien, Medicaid's estate recovery lien, was $172,000. And they wanted it all back. So we have spent the last 6 months trying to negotiate with the estate recovery division to take something less.
I would think that the money that a senior citizen were to win after suing a nursing home for their neglect or abuse of that resident, I would think that that money should go toward the continued care and upgrading the care of the person who's there. I mean, I'm not talking about, you know, gold tiles on the floor, you know, gold-plated tiles on the floor, but to maybe hire somebody who's a sitter to come in and read with them. Give them, you know, the opportunity to go out with the residents to the beach or to a mall when they go out on field trips, to just increase the quality of that care, considering the reason they're getting the money is because of the neglect of the quality of that care.
Most of my clients, no, not most, all, have come to my office, and the ones that we pursue legal action, and have said, quite frankly, either to me, through the nursing home, the defense counsel, or in their deposition, or in court, we don't care if we get $1 million in this case. We just don't want to happen to another elderly person
right.
what happened to our loved one.
Yeah.
Can you stop that? Can you promise it? A lot of them would like remedial measures put in place, a new policy, a new procedure.
Right. Isn't it sad that they have to go that far in order to just get a nursing home to think about the quality of care they're giving to these human beings and think more about that than the bottom dollar? I mean, look, it's a capitalist country. I'm not saying nursing homes shouldn't make money. You know, if they didn't make money, they wouldn't be in business, they wouldn't be there. I mean, I understand that. But isn't it sad, though, that it's more important to make that buck than to buy that extra alarm on that door that, you know, that someone could wander out through and get hurt?
It's cheaper for them to be sued.
Wow.
Than to put in place more quality of care issues. And if they're billing for service A, B, and C, and then the individual falls and breaks their hip, now the individual needs OT, physical therapy, and rehabilitation. Well, now they're going to, besides billing for A, B, and C, now the nursing home's billing for D, E, and F. They can bill more after someone gets injured.
So they can actually, wait a minute, so they can actually make money off of the decrease in care of the people who are living in their facility?
Absolutely.
I just want to say that again for those of you who are listening, because as I'm saying it, it's making me nuts. They actually can make more money off of the decrease in care of the people who live in their facility.
Yes.
That's why people need to be calling attorney David Hoey, or attorneys like him, for legal advice and for legal counsel against some of these nursing homes. It's absolutely abysmal. I mean, it blows my mind, even with the things that I saw personally. It blows my mind that they can make more money not giving the level of care that people deserve. These are human beings. They're not cargo. They're not products. They're people. Talk a little. We only have about 5 or 6 minutes left, and I want you to, again, give your phone number out at the end of the show. But there's something that I think most people don't know about, and that's called dumping.
Okay.
Can you just as an informative thing for the public, can you just let them know what dumping is and maybe what it is that we can do stop it through legislation, through whatever?
It's called patient dumping, and it happens an awful lot. Most of the time, I've seen it with hospitals dumping someone into a nursing home and then saying, person's your problem, you go take care of it. But it's been happening a lot on the reverse side, the nursing home, now sending the resident to a hospital and then not readmitting the resident when the hospital is done caring for them. It's passing the buck. It's pushing the responsibility onto someone else, and it's called patient dumping. It's going to have to get, the only way to resolve it, I think, is going to be through legislation, if possible. And of course that takes money, resources, and a long time.
Maybe if people at home are paying attention, what they can do is just have their antenna up to see what it is, because I'm sure that many people have been victims of this, who are probably watching the show that don't even know it. What they do is, if your grandfather or your father or your mother are a particularly difficult patient for some of these nursing homes to deal with, they will, for whatever excuse they can, admit them into the hospital and say there's something wrong with them, and then at the end of their stay at the hospital, just refuse to let them back in. And now you're stuck with a situation where you've got a senior citizen who, whether by difficult or not, still human beings, and now have had another home taken away from them, the nursing home that dumped them.
That's right. It happens quite a bit, and you don't even recognize it. You don't even pick it up on it. But one thing I want to, before the show ends, that I want to make clear, that there's this misconception out there about the care in nursing homes. There's the belief that if someone's in a nursing home, it's okay for their health and quality of life to decrease, which that is not the case. Someone in a nursing home, the nursing home is to maintain a level of care and maintain a quality of life of the individual.
That's right.
If that quality of care or quality of life decreases, the nursing home is to involve physician intervention and family intervention and make a new decision to either get the resident back on track to maintain quality of life and a quality of care, or find an alternative means of medical treatment to take care of the issues. I would say 8 out of 10 residents are declining in both quality of care and quality of health issues when they should be being maintained.
This is the Paying Attention television program, obviously a spin-off of the Paying Attention radio program, which can be heard Saturday afternoon from 12 to 2 on WCCM, 800 on your AM dial. My guest today, and hopefully, can you come back? Can you come back maybe in a couple of months? Would you like to be a regular guest on this program to talk about different things that are happening in elder care?
I just got started. I can talk for months on this thing.
That'd be great. We'd love to have you back. And he is definitely going to be a regular on the radio program starting, well, he's starting last week. But within, I think maybe once a month or maybe once every 6 weeks, we're going to have him in. And he is attorney David Hoey in North Andover. And why don't you give the phone number again one more time before we sign off. If you have any family member, loved one who's in a nursing home, or you're thinking about putting someone in a nursing home, it's very, very, very important that you research it properly and that you call someone like Attorney Hoey, who really is an advocate for seniors. And I think you and I are going to be working together on a lot of things over the next year. Why don't you give the phone number out, and then we're going to have to say goodbye to people.
I look forward to it. My phone number is 978-664-3633. I also have a website, which is www.hoeylaw.com, which is only about nursing home cases, and also has certain lists and educational components to it.
And if you missed any of that, and you are looking for some information, or you'd like to pass along some information to Attorney Hoey, you can go to my website, www.tommyduggan.com. You can email whatever it is information you want to get to him, or whatever questions you have for him, or you can just email me for information about him, and I'll be more than happy to be a conduit between you and the seniors, especially in the Merrimack Valley. Thank you so much for watching. Attorney David Hoey, thanks for being here, and thank you all for paying attention. And remember, if you're not paying attention, you're part of the problem. So please do. We'll see you next week.